Hello, me and my nose hair here again. I'm gonna explain the title of my page. I never had the wherewithal to learn electronics and therefore attempt acquiring upright video games. Are you done, puppy? Because you got to know how to work on them if you're gonna collect them. But I've always been a big fan of the games from the early 80s. Not really the 70s games and not the after 85. It's just that particular, and not all those games, because you get bored of the old games. Like, I can still remember how I felt when I first saw Pac-Man, and it was exciting because the design on the cabinet was completely different from the way the characters looked on the game. And it was an interesting game. And I realized something many years later, that one thing that gets your excitement up and makes you lose is there's an ambulance siren that raises in pitch while you're playing the game. You've really got to be even-tempered to play it good. And I ain't gonna go through the ones I don't like. Of course, everybody I would love to have those too. If I had my own arcade, it would probably be a hobby. I wouldn't have, some of these people have arcades where they let you pay and play all day. And that's better than the way it used to be, where it was a quarter a play or you buy tokens. And but you gotta have a whole day. If you're gonna pay $20, you don't want to just go in there for an hour. That's kind of what they're counting on, though. I like the obscure games that you never saw, and I don't remember seeing a lot of these in arcades, like Ladybug. I don't remember seeing that. Or I might have seen Omega Race, but Omega Race is better on Coleco. I think the actual Omega Race is a Vector Graphics game. Some Vector Graphics games are pretty cool. I got a friend, like Defender, but Defender has too many buttons. And but it looks cool. And Robotron, there's too much happening though, That's the idea, though. You lose a quarter. Asteroids, Vector Graphics, and Tempest. Everybody knows Tempest. Of course, everybody loves Tempest. I loved Tempest. It stayed in the Sears arcade for a long time. I think it would be one I would want. Bubbles was a great game, but I never saw it in an arcade. Super Cobra and Scramble, I don't remember ever seeing those. Congo Bongo was one of my favorites. It was in the mall movie theater way back in the old days. And it's hard to remember them now. I knew I should have wrote them down. I'm probably not going to remember many right now. I'll have to keep adding to this, and I don't want to do that. I had a friend that loved Missile Command, and he had a roommate that had a Missile Command upright game, but that was a long time ago. And Rock and Rope was cool. Donkey Kong 3. Munchmobile, that was a weird game, and I did see it in an arcade. Jump Bug was strange, and I saw it in the Sears arcade before, I think. Seemed like before Pac-Man was in there, because it was, the main game was at the very back of the arcade in the center. And I know Jump Bug was there. I think Jump Bug was as old or older than Pac-Man. I never saw Adventures of Robbie Roto. That's a really wacko game. Targ, I think they had Targ at the Howard's department store, which used to be right across the highway from me where I am now. Well, not across, a little further up, over behind the Dairy Queen. They also had Tron. Tron's one I would want in that Howard store. Oh, Metro Cross. I think that's one of the 85 or later games that I like. It's just a racing game, but you're inside, the little guy is inside a computer matrix or something. It's all paneled like it's inside a spaceship or something. If he doesn't make it to the end in time, he gets zapped. And that's it. That's the end of the game. You don't get 3 lives. You get so much time to make it to the end. If you make it to the end way before your time runs out, that time gets added to your time for the next board. Reactor was a great game, but I never saw it in an arcade. I had it on Atari 2600. But the original game, I think, was a Vector Graphics game. It was pretty heavy looking. This one I would have. Blueprint, I had it on Atari 2600, and it was a pretty good translation of it. I never saw it in an arcade, though, but it was a really cool game. Time Pilot. It was a little more popular than I like, but I would have it. Puyon. That's a strange game where you're this pig shooting arrows at these wolves who are trying to float down to the bottom and climb up the tree that your little parasol thing is attached to, so they can reach out and bite you. If you get a big leg of meat, like a chicken leg, I don't know what it was, big turkey leg or hog leg. It can't be a hog leg, you're a pig. You can throw it and all the wolves or foxes will come down at once in a row. If you throw it just right, it'll knock them all off their balloons. That's what you're shooting. You're trying to shoot their balloons and make them pop with the arrows. Puyon was a cool game. 720 was a skateboard game. I got one retro arcade greatest hits collection just because it had 720 on it, and then I couldn't play the game. Paperboy reminds me of 720, even though they're not similar really in many respects. Crystal Castles was great. It kind of reminded me of Congo Bongo. I love those kind of platform games. What else? The games are up here. I'm looking around. Oh yeah, Sky Skipper. It never made it to the arcade, but they have an arcade version of it. It was only released for home video game consoles. But I know there's a ROM for the original game, and it looks pretty good. The one on the translations don't look that good. Frontline was cool. Sky Skipper. Popeye. I'd have Popeye. It was popular, but I like Popeye. Amidar. I like that game a lot. Mr. Do's Castle. That was one I liked. There was a video arcade in, I think, the Arbor Shopping Center where Winn-Dixie and Michaels and everything was out by Oak Grove Road in 98. And they had Mr. Do's Castle. Mr. Do was okay. I never saw it in an arcade. It's basically the original game they took Dig Dug from, but Dig Dug was way more popular. I like Dig Dug for that reason. What's the other one? Oh yeah, all the Mr. Do games. Mr. Do's Wild Ride and Do Run Run. I like those kind of games. Joust was okay, even though it's popular. Let's see. I'm trying to remember all the games from my Namco Greatest Hits. Bosconian, I never saw it in an arcade. I didn't even know about it. Gapless was pretty cool. It's like Galaga times 2. Galaga's okay. I didn't know about the cheat. If I would have, maybe I would have been able to do it. Although it ain't easy. It ain't an easy cheat. And you gotta really play hard to get it right. I used to kind of like Excite Bike. It was okay. Spy Hunter, I think that's the one where you have to get up in the van and change and get modifications, I think. That one was kind of cool. It was popular, but I would take it. See, I don't like Tetris. I don't like... Oh, Super Pac-Man was okay. Baby Pac-Man was the real winner out of all the Pac-Man games, I think. I think it was the only pinball and video game I've ever seen for its day. Mappy. I liked Mappy a lot. The original game, which I couldn't get very far on. I still can't get very far on it now. I do better at it than I used to. Xevious is a hand cramper, but I liked it okay. There was another game that links to Xevious. I'm not sure which was first. It's called Grobda, and I found it on one of the compilations I got. It was a Namco game. And in it, you're one of those tanks that's on the ground that you bomb in Xevious. And you've got a force field, a shield, and you can rotate the turret and shoot at the other tanks like you can on Tron. And there's barriers you can use. And at the beginning, it always says, "Get ready." I always like that. Get ready. And I know I'm forgetting a lot of them. Pac-Man Jr. was cool. I'll come back with some more. I'm getting up to 15 minutes right now.